Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
As much I always go and then I don't have my thoughts gathered. Um, I love this book. This was like a 5 out of 5 for me. As slow of a start as it was, I ended up just loving it so much. I loved the characters. I loved the like progression of it. I loved everything about the book. I thought it was super interesting. The fighting, the spirituality, the fantasy aspect of it, I guess you could say. Um, I ended up liking the weird romance. I loved how Robin came back and we kind of closed that chapter a little bit. And I loved Robin as like even this like the short period of time that we got to know Robin. I genuinely liked his character. Like the whole found family thing was really good. Um, I'm not ready. But other than that, I just think it was a really good book. I really genuinely enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed like yeah. Drawing a blank here, guys. I'm sorry. I'm pretty.
We'll circle back to you. I'm
Yeah, circle
curious.
back to me.
I'm curious. Maybe you can probably like expand on this later, but I'm curious like how and when did you come in like such like a 180? Because it felt like you were. It felt like like beyond
Yeah,
it just being slow.
yeah,
This felt like it was going to be like a 1 or 2 for you for it. So for it to go to all the way to 5, that's awesome. That's crazy.
yeah.
All right,
Oh,
shall
like I said,
I
I
or
just
do
thought
you?
everything
Oh,
was
go
like
ahead.
really. All right, now I get to have it come to me. I just like everything came together in the end for me in a way that I appreciated. Like as much as I hated all of the men in the beginning, I appreciate the fact that we acknowledged it. A man said, "Hey, it was wrong." I don't know. Everything was answered in a way that I was suitable for me. So
Yeah, right on. All right, Manel, you want to go or shall I?
I can go.
Okay.
Um,
what is this book like this?
Everything I said about part one still holds. I have not changed my opinion. It's still like way up there for me. I just had like two thoughts. One was like the total randomness and unpredictability of the war. Like Mamoru dying, I did not. I mean, no, I can't say I did not see that coming because we did see that coming. But also, I thought he was gonna pull like some miracle card and just come back to life.
Sure.
It is fantasy after all, but this is way more realistic. But his death was sad. Like the
Yeah.
part where that he was actually the first of his generation to do the whispering sword, but no one's ever gonna know about that. That was pretty sad. Like he tried all his life to like figure that out, and in his dying moment, like he was able to, and that's so sad. And the other one was that how like tragedies kind of shape people's relationships. Like his mom and his dad kind of like finding each other was like random, not random, but like I did not see that coming. I liked his redemption arc that he also was like suffering, but no one really knew about it because he was always perceived as someone to be so cold and unmoving. But then he kind of like said, "No, I've been suffering too," and I was like, "Oh, okay, that makes so much sense." So
Yeah, that's what I appreciated.
Mm.
yeah. I liked how they kind of came together, not where they, suddenly was like, oh my gosh, I love you so much, I can't live my life without you, sort of, but it was more like a
Yeah.
friendship and a friendship, and that was so much more realistic. I also like the fact that Robin came back. I almost thought, oh no, is he gonna like disrupt the family here now? But no, it was nice that he came to like help them out and to like help see them through it, so that was really good. The part that I really hated was when her friend got raped and then she had
God.
Dang.
bear that child. I was like, oh no,
Yeah.
oh, that
That
was
was
so sad.
brutal. Brutal, but
Yeah,
also pretty realistic. But yeah, that
exactly.
was
Yeah,
awful. Yeah.
yeah. I think that maybe for me, I like the first part better than the second part because the second part got very administrative towards the end. But then again, I don't like hold it against the book because it all ties in with all aspects of the war. And the name of the book, The Sword of Kaigen, a Theonite war story, makes so much sense. It is a war story. It's not just the blood and go of it, but like all the other surrounding aspects of it also. So it was a very well thought out book. I liked it. I will definitely give it 5 stars because it deserves 5 stars.
Nice.
I agree with the
Um,
whole raping thing. Oh, I hated that part so much.
Mhm.
And I guess I didn't
yeah,
talk about Mamoru. I'm glad Mamoru died. Like, I'm not glad, obviously,
yeah,
but like,
yeah, but just like the
it had a good,
impact and the
it got a good
realism of
arc,
it. Yeah.
and that's what I really liked about it. Sorry, I'm pulling my flick baguette. Like everything was really realistic, like Mel said. It didn't go straight into them loving each other and like fawning of each other and everything okay. Like she barely touched him still, and it just felt real. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Um. Okay. So, pretty much agree with all everything. This was also a 5 star for me too. I thought it was really, really excellent. I it kind of felt like it was going to be at the midpoint, and it just continued to deliver for me. So yeah, I thought it was really, really great. The yeah, Memoru, I am glad that it went the way that it did because it just hit and it sucked, but like in a good way. And man, with Masaki going there and like holding her dead son, that was crazy.
yeah,
Another part that really got to me was like her best sister friend Setsuko knowing what had happened to her son without her saying because she just saw the redness of her eyes, and like Masaki never cries, so it's like, oh, must be that was all. Yeah, that was all pretty brutal, pretty awesome though. uh I also like really appreciated like the love story, I guess, and like them sort of like finding each other like through the grief and the tragedy and all of that. And then also I think I just really really appreciate t- tis ta 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 what's her husband's name? Takeru.
Yeah.
Takeru. Yeah. I really really appreciate his character like throughout. Like I'll like I, there was something about it where like even when I remember like when I said that I think he's going to have a redemption arc at like the midpoint.
you did say
Even
that,
when
yeah.
I said that, it sounded crazy to me, but at the same time, there was something about the way he was written that I could really really like identify with, because it's not like I've killed a bunch of people or like beaten a son or anything like that, but like just that idea of like being like very very cut off from your feelings sometimes. I get that way. I've been that way, and I've hurt people during that time, and I've ignored people during that time, and there's this weird aspect of like I can be a dick during that time, but I like really don't even mean it. And there was something about the way he was written where I could sort of like tell that like there was something lurking underneath him. You know what I mean? And then when when it all kind of like came out, I was like, damn, that kind of makes sense. So that was cool. I ended up liking him a lot. Couple of notes that are I think just kind of cool. So I learned where this fits. So this is a prequel to the main duology series. It doesn't seem like we should read it. Like it's gotten way worse stars, and I think people just generally said that the author wasn't as good at writing at the time. So I think she just progressed, and like this I noticed a lot of people saying that this was just better than the main series. But the main series is it revolves around Daniel, the little kid of, yeah, he's the main protagonist from the main series. So that's how it connects. So I thought that was like really cool. So it's not super connected to this family at all. It's so that means this was like a very well fleshed out book that kind of came from nowhere. You know what I mean? Like it was only
Mhm.
like barely connected. That's kind of cool. And also, I don't know how many are involved, but at least there's these four. There's I think it's called the Flight of Yama. And like they were saying Yama a lot. I think that was like the goddess of something. But that book is a really short novella. I even thought it might be interesting if you read that one. I don't know how good it is,
Um,
but it's only like 20 pages. That's the thing. But it's the story of how that warplane got there in the beginning. Yeah, just a little tiny,
oh,
like a little tiny short story about what the heck was up with that. So that's kind of cool. That came out like I think a couple of years, like no, like 3 years after that this book came out. So that's kind of dope. I don't think I think we should just. It seems like this is like the best of the series from what I'm seeing. So we should probably just leave it as is. But kind of cool how it ties in. I thought I appreciated that. Um, Yeah, I thought it was just fantastic. I really really liked it.
Such a
Yeah.
good book.
One thing I did find weird was, you know how Mizaki was like keeping her distance from her husband, and that kind of translated into her keeping her distance from all her sons also, and
Hmm.
that had like one like genuine conversation with Mamoru right after he kind of expressed all his doubts about the empire or whatever, and that scene where she was talking to him on the steps watching the sunrise, that was like so cutesy and everything. Like when he died, I was like confused why she was like so heartbroken. Not to say that she didn't love him or anything, but like it felt weird, and I almost thought it was out of guilt because like she had 14 years with him, but like she opted to keep her distance, and then like towards the end, just before he died, she kind of started getting close to him, and I thought maybe that was from a sense of guilt also, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think it was out of guilt or like she actually genuinely was heartbroken or both?
Mm,
It up to one of those mother's love type of things that I don't know because I'm not a mother.
that's
Yeah, I
fair.
guess.
I think there was a good chunk of it where I just was just sort of like, I don't understand that, but I'm just gonna believe. But yeah, I think similar. I think we can probably say it was more on the mother's love side because of the way she followed through and was feeling about the rest of the kids. So it probably was genuine, but just budding. But I kind of
Mhm.
agree. Although the other thing that I kind of was somewhat realizing, but I'm not sure if I'm right about, this book might have had that problem where like I think when she like had that realization to where when the war happened, I think it's possible that like a lot of time went by, but like the book didn't like express it well enough and we kind of missed it. But like I remember
A
it saying
lot of time passed in this book.
yeah,
Like
yeah. So
years.
so 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 maybe she like had that realization and then the war didn't actually come for like a year or something like that and
Yeah,
we just couldn't even tell. And so it
yeah,
felt fast, but maybe it wasn't really that fast. It's possible, but I don't quite know. Cause yeah, that I still man, like it was always so trippy to me how well throughout all three of the books of the Brandon Sanderson books where like when time passed, I felt it. And I don't know what he was doing right, but so many books miss that. And I don't know. I really don't know what he did so well. But yeah, I do get the sense that this was like a very long stretched out book, but it felt like it all happened within like 3 weeks.
mm,
Yeah. Dang. Another banger going in the 5 out of 5s. That's
yeah.
pretty crazy. Good year so far.
My head.
Uh,